Hi everyone, this is Professor Mayungar and you are watching ERUDIRE Plus, the professional CAD/CAM solution provider. Let's get started.
Hello viewers, this is the second assembly of our coursework and we need to model and assemble this one using Autodesk Fusion 360. This is a pulley block assembly. We're having different parts here. Let us see the actual drawing. This is the base plate and this is the angle plate. In between the two angle plates we are providing this wheel, and inside this wheel we are having two washers and also two bushings, and this to be connected with this shoulder screw, and at the end of the shoulder screw we need to provide a nut, and at the bases we need to provide these bolts, right? Let us start modeling the different components. First one will be the base plate of length 115 by 40 millimeter, and that to be extruded to a depth of 5 millimeter. In between we need to provide 4 holes of diameter 5 millimeter. Okay, so let us start modeling those components. Initially we model those parts as bodies, and later on we'll convert those bodies into components, right? First of all we need to create a new design, and we can save it by the name of assembly 2, and we can save it to a specific folder by the name of Fusion. Let us save it. You can see it is saved by the name of assembly 2 itself, right? First of all, we need to create a base on the bottom plane. Let us start creating sketch from here, and we need to select that bottom plane, and we are initiating the sketch as a rectangle. It will be a center point rectangle. Initially we are providing at random dimensions. Later on we can put the smart dimensions as required. Let us see the drawing again. We need to provide this rectangle of length 115 and breadth 40 millimeter, and in between we need to provide 4 holes of diameter 5 millimeter at a specific location, right? So to provide smart dimension, hit D as a shortcut for dimension. This one is 115 millimeter and this one is 40 millimeter, and we need to put some holes at specific locations. We'll create one hole and that can be mirrored, so we can create some construction lines. Select the lines again and hit X to make it a construction line. Done. Now we need to provide a circle. Let us see the location of the circle. It is at a distance of 25 millimeter from left hand side, and from top vertical side it is at a distance of 10 millimeter, and the diameter of this one is actually 5 millimeter. Initially we can draw a circle at any arbitrary location. It is having diameter of 5 millimeter, and to provide a specific location from here to left hand side it is at a distance of 25 millimeter, and from here to this one this distance is 10 millimeter. Done. It is defined. Now we need to make a mirror of this one. Starting with mirror, select that object to be mirrored. Now you can select the mirror line. Selected. Done. We need to repeat the same process. Select the circles again and start with mirror. Now we need to select the mirror line as this one. Okay, done. Objects are made. We need to extrude this one to a depth of 5 millimeter. So finish the sketch and we need to extrude this one. So select the specific areas to be extruded, and the depth of extrusion is 5 millimeter. We are considering this one as a new body. Done. The base plate is ready. Okay, you can see this one. You can see the drawing again. Next to that we need to create the angle plate. This is a very important part. On two angle plates Actually the wheel and the different bushings will be there. So we need to create this one, and that can be extruded to a depth of 40 millimeter. Right, let us start sketching on front plan. We can sketch this one at any arbitrary position. Right, so starting with line, we can offset this one by a depth of 5 millimeter, and we can join it together with lines. Now we need to provide smart dimension to this one. Right, let us see that this is 40 and this is 40, and in between we need to provide a fillet of radius 6.25 millimeter. Let us provide fillet radius here as 6.25 millimeter, and as a dimension from here to this one it will be 40 millimeter. Again the dimension from here to this one is also 40 millimeter. It is made, and you can locate this one, and from here the distance will be actually 7.5 millimeter. And we can provide the distance of this one. This one will be lying on that surface, so the distance from here to this one will be 40 millimeter. Done. Sketch is fully defined. Now we can finish the sketch, and that to be extruded to a depth of 40 millimeter from the middle plane. Right, so starting with extrusion, and from direction we are selecting this one as symmetry, and from distance it will be whole length, and it will be extruded to a depth of 40 millimeter. And in operation we are considering this one as a new body. Done. Right, we need to put some holes at specific locations also. Let us rotate this one. Here this location we need to put a hole. So starting sketch from here, and initially we'll provide one circle at random at any arbitrary position. Let us see the dimensions of this circle. From left hand side it will be at a distance of 20 millimeter, and from top it will be at a distance of 15, and the diameter of the circle is 10 millimeter. So let us provide smart dimension to this one. Diameter of this one is actually 10 millimeter, and from here the distance will be 20 millimeter, and from top it will be at a distance of 15 millimeter. It is fully defined, so finish the sketch, and that to be extruded up to the surface. So starting with extrusion, select that space to be removed, and you can change the direction of extrusion, and from distance you can select all, and the operation is cutting. Done. Next to that we need to put some holes at the base also. So select that specific surface and start creating circles at this location. Two circles will be there symmetrically, so we can create one central line as a construction line. Select the line again and hit X to make it construction line. Now we can put some circle at any arbitrary position. Right, circle is having diameter of 5 millimeter. Enter. Now we need to provide the location of this one. Let us see the location. From left hand side it is at a distance of 10 millimeter, and it will move off by 15 millimeter. So smart dimension, from here to here this is 10 millimeter, and the distance of this one from here it is 15 millimeter. The location of the hole is perfectly defined. Now the same circle to be provided on the other side. That can be done using mirror. So starting with mirror, select the hole to be mirrored, and we need to select the mirror line again. This is the mirror line. Okay, done. The sketch is fully defined, so we can finish the sketch, and that to be extruded to a depth of 5 millimeter. Starting with extrusion from here, select the specific areas to be extruded, and this one to be extruded in the opposite direction to a depth of 5 mm. You can see it from front view, and the operation is cut. Okay, done. So the angle plate is also ready, right? Next to that, we need to provide this wheel, and that can be provided on the front plane. So start sketching on front plane. This is the front plane selected. First of all, we need to create one construction line. Select the line and hit X to make it a construction line. Let us see the drawing again. We need to make this profile, and that should be revolved with respect to the central axis, right? So what can we do is we can make 1/4 of this object. We can make up to this one that can be mirrored on the other side. Then finally, the whole cross-section area will be revolved with respect to the central axis. Okay. Starting with line again. Any arbitrary line we are making. Let us select the line again and hit X to make it a construction line. And the distance of this one from here, it will be 25 mm again, right? So smart dimension, the distance from here to this one will be 25 mm. Done. Initially, we'll create one arbitrary sketch. We have provided one arbitrary profile. Now we can put a smart dimension to these ones, right? Let us see that drawing again. From center, we are having a hole of diameter 6.25 mm. So from here to here, this will be half of that one. It will be 3.125 mm. Smart dimension from here to this one, it is 3.125 mm. Let us see the other circles. Next one is a circle of diameter 10 mm. 10, 33 and 44 different circles are there. So we need to provide the half of those things. From here to this first line, it is 3.125 mm. Second line is at a distance of 5 mm. Third horizontal line is at a distance of 16.5 mm. And the last horizontal line is at a distance of 20 mm. First line is already made. Second, third and fourth line will be at a distance of 5, 16.5 and 20 mm. Smart dimension. This one will be at a distance of 5 mm. This one will be at a distance of 16.5 mm. And top one will be at a distance of 20 mm. Let us see the other dimensions. You can see this is 5 mm. Again, this one is also same 5 mm. And the distance from here to here, it will be 7.5 mm. This one is 4 mm. And this angle will be actually 45 degree here itself. This one and this one, this angle is 45 degree. Sketch is fully defined. Now we can have a mirror of this one on the left hand side, and that can be revolved with respect to the central axis, this one, right? So starting with mirror, select the lines to be mirrored. All the lines are selected. Now we can select the mirror line. This is the mirror line. Okay, the profile is made. Now this profile to be revolved with respect to the central axis, this one, right? So finish the sketch and you can start revolving the object with respect to the central axis. And we're considering this one as a new body. Done. You can see this is made. Next to that, we need to put some bushes, right? A bush can be provided here itself. Let us see the dimensions of the bush. You can see the bush is having diameter of 10 mm and 6.25 mm, and it will be extruded to a depth of 5 mm. We can create a bush on the surface. Select the surface and start sketching on that. we need to provide 2 concentric cycles of specific dimensions, right? The bush is having diameter of 10 millimeter and 6.25 millimeter, right? So the plane is selected. Start sketching cycle on that plane. This one is 10 millimeter. Another cycle to be drawn with a diameter of 6.25 millimeter. 6.25 millimeter, right? Done. And this dimension to be provided because it is showing the sketch is not fully defined, so we can provide the diameter of this one as 10 millimeter. Done. Sketch is fully defined. That to be extruded to a depth of 5 millimeter. We should not bother about the location of this one. Actually, during assembly, we need to shift the location. Initially, we have drawn this one at any arbitrary location, right? But while assembly, we need to provide the actual locations, right? Now we need to extrude this one to a depth of 5 millimeter. So select extrusion and select the specific areas to be extruded. We need to extrude this one to a depth of 5 millimeter in the reverse direction. Depth of extrusion is 5 millimeter. In operation, we are considering this one as a new body. Done. So the bush is made. Next to that, we need to select some other component. You can create the washer also. The washer is having diameter of 12 millimeter and 6.25 millimeter, and this one should be extruded to a depth of 1 millimeter, right? So you can create the washer at this location. Select sketching on that surface. Let us pan this one. Now we need to create 2 concentric cycles. Initially, we are drawing any cycles with any diameter. Let us put the dimensions of this one. It is having 2 cycles of diameter 12 and 6.25 millimeter. Let us provide smart dimension to this one. The bigger one is having diameter of 12 millimeter, and this one is having diameter of 6.25 millimeter. Sketch is fully defined. Finish the sketch and that to be extruded to a depth of 1 millimeter. We can select the specific areas to be extruded. Now this one to be extruded to a depth of 1 millimeter, and we are considering this one as a new body. Done. Right, this is the washer, and next to that we need to create some other component. We need to create this shoulder screw. Actually, this is very simple to model. We need to provide a sketch of this one and that to be revolved with respect to the central axis, right? Initially, we will draw the sketch at random. Let us create sketching on front plane. On any arbitrary position, we can sketch it. We can create one construction line. Select the line again. Hit X to make it a construction line. Done. We can put the distance of this one from bottom as 25 millimeter. As a smart dimension, we can select this one and the bottom of this one. It will be at a distance of 30 millimeter. Okay. These are actually arbitrary locations. So this is not an issue at all. We can change the distance during actual assembly, right? From here to here, this one will be actually 5 millimeter because the diameter is 10. So this is 5 and 4, right? And total distance is actually 37 millimeter. We need to initiate the sketch at any random position. Let us start with lines. We are making the lines at random. Initially, we made the sketch. Now we need to put the smart dimensions. This is 4 millimeter. So from here to here, it is 2 millimeter, and this one will be 3.125 millimeter. We can put smart dimensions. This is 2 millimeter, and from here to here, this one will be 3.125 millimeter, and finally this one will be 5 millimeter. Now we can put other dimensions. This one will be 4 millimeter, and you can see it again. This is 4 millimeter. From here to here, this is 27 millimeter. This is 27 millimeter, and again from here to here, this is 37 millimeter. Done. Now sketch is ready. Now we can finish the sketch and that can be revolved with respect to a central axis. So starting with revolution, area is selected. Now we can select the axis also. Done. And it is considered as a new body. Okay, done. We have made almost all the components or all the bodies. Few things remaining. Let us see the remaining parts. Two things are remaining. One bolt and a nut is to be made. Right. We'll make this bolt and nut on the top plane. Right. So let us make the bolt at this location. We can select the surface and start sketching on that surface. Start a polygon, and we are selecting circumscribed polygon. Let us start sketching a hexagon. Let us see the dimensions of this one. It's 10 millimeter, and here it is 5 millimeter. So this one is actually 5 millimeter. Enter. And inside this one we need to provide another circle of diameter 5 millimeter. Done. Sketch is finished. Actually the sketch is not fully defined because we need to provide the location of this one with respect to some other location also. This is not permanent. This is a temporary location only. Right. So we can finish the sketch and that to be extruded to a specific depth of 4 millimeter. Let us see the drawing. This to be extruded to a depth of 4 millimeter. Then down also it will come down to a depth of 9 millimeter. Right. So starting with extrusion, select that specific areas that to be extruded to a depth of 4 millimeter, and in operation we are considering this one as a new body. Done. Starting with extrusion again, select the bottom surface and that to be extruded in the negative direction to a depth of 9 millimeter. So distance will be minus 9 millimeter, and in operation we are considering this one as a new body. Done. Right. So these two are different bodies that to be combined as a component again. Right. Let us select these two bodies, the cylindrical portion and this is the hexagonal portion. We need to combine these two bodies as a single body. Right. Let us combine this one. Done. So this is a single body now. Next to that we need to provide the hexagonal nut. Let us see the drawing. It will be similar to the bolt one. It is having external diameter as 10 millimeter. Right. Let us start sketching the nut on bottom plane. So create polygon. It will be circumscribed polygon, and we can create polygon at this location. It will be 5 millimeter, and inside this one we need to provide a circle of diameter 5 millimeter again. Done. Sketch is finished. Now we can finish the sketch and that to be extruded to a depth of 5 millimeter, and depth of extrusion is 5 millimeter. We have provided this one at any arbitrary location because we need to assemble these things again. Right. We have created 8 body parts. Now to initiate the assembly we need to convert these body parts into components. Let us select all the body parts. All the bodies are selected. Now we can convert these bodies into components. Right. You see 8 components are produced, and we can rename the components accordingly. First one is the base. Second component is the shoulder screw. Third component is the side plate. Fourth component is the bush. Fifth component is the washer. Sixth component is the wheel. Seventh component is the bolt. And finally, the 8th component is the nut. Let us select the base and activate the base. Now while initiating the assembly, any one component should be grounded. In this case, let us consider the base to be grounded. Excluding the base, all other components will be floating. Right. Now we can initiate the whole model. All the components are actually active right now, and base is actually grounded, and excluding the base all other components are floating. We can remove the objects at any specific location.
right? So we are having 8 different components that can be assembled right now. For initiating the assembly, we can start from here. And first of all, we need to put the side plate on this base, right? So we can select the specific location of the side plate. This hole should be attached with the hole at this location. And here we are having different types of joints like rigid, revolute, slide, cylindrical, pin, short, planar, and ball. But in this case, this will be fixed with the base. So we need to select the rigid support or rigid joint. Okay, this is done. This one is fixed. Now we need to create a mirror assembly of this one with respect to the center plane. Right. So create mirror. We need to select that side plate and that to be mirrored with respect to the right plane, considering the object as a new body. Okay, done. This is made. Next to that, we need to attach the hole in between, right? So again, starting with joint, and we need to select the specific locations. This one should be attached at this location. And here in this case, we are having different types of joints. It will be actually rotating. So instead of rigid, it will be revolute joint. You can see this is revolving with respect to the central axis, right? Done. This is made. Next to that, we need to insert the bush at this location. So starting with joint again, and let us select the specific location of the bush. Selected. This one will be inserted at this location. And also it will move inside by a depth of 5 mm. Done. And in this case also, the joint will be revolute joint. You can see this will be rotating, right? Now we need to mirror this bush on the other side. So create a mirror. Let us select the bush to be mirrored, and mirror plane will be right plane. Selected, and this will be considered as a new body, right? Done. Let us see that. So this surface we have attached the bush also. Now we need to attach the washer inside. Let us start with joint, and we need to select the washer that will be attached at this surface. And motion type, it will be rigid. Done. The same thing can be done on the other side also by mirroring. So create a mirror. Let us select that washer and that to be mirrored with respect to the right plane. Let us select the right plane. Selected, and it will be considered as a new body. Okay, done. Let us see that washer. This is made, right? Now we need to insert the shoulder screw inside these holes. So starting with joint again, and we need to select the specific locations. This location should be attached on the surface of this washer, and in this case the joint will be revolute. So we are changing the joint from rigid to revolute. Okay, done. Now we need to attach the nut at this location. So we need to select the specific location of the nut. Selected. Now we need to select this location, and in this case the joint will be rigid. Okay, you can see the nut is fixed at this location, right? But this one is actually revolving or rotating. right? And finally, this bolt to be attached at the holes at this location. So starting with joint again, and we need to select the specific location of this one. Selected. This will be attached on this surface, and in this case we're considering this joint to be rigid. Done. You can see this is not rotating, this is rigid support, right? This is a rigid joint. Now we need to mirror this bolt at different locations, right? So create mirror. Let us select that bolt, and this one needs to be mirrored with respect to some specific planes, right? Let us select the plane. In this case we are considering the front plane, and in operation it will be considered as a new body. Okay, done. You can see this is placed at this location. Now at this last case, these two bolts should be placed on the right hand side. So starting with mirror again, let us select the bodies, and we need to select the mirror plane, and mirror plane it will be right plane, and in operation it will be considered as new body. Okay, done. You can see this is the assembly, right? Now to provide better appearance, let us hit A as a shortcut of appearance, and we can provide different metallic appearance to this one. Let us select is composed of metallic paint, and we can provide different colors to this one. Let us consider these nuts and bolts to be composed of yellow color. The angle plate should be made up of white color, and the wheel is made up of red color, and the bottom plate we can put this one to be made up of green color. This nut also should be made up of yellow color, and finally these washers are black, and shoulder screw should be also made up of black color. It is done. Let us close this one. You can see this is our assembly, right? And here we have provided different types of joints like revolute and also rigid. Okay, so this one will conclude our second assembly. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you again. Bye.
If you like this video, please subscribe and share. And if you have any kind of doubts, please write to me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you again. Bye.